thank you all for coming. We know everyone is busy and we appreciate that you are investing the time to come. Our focus for this time is to demonstrate and for you to learn how to use MEDITECH to request a surgery case with the WCH Surgery Department. This will be the first step to initiate scheduling a new surgery case for a patient. We are formatting the training by first providing a demonstration of the workflow, followed by Q&A, and then hands-on practice for you. We are asking as much as possible to hold your questions until the Q&A segment. For those of you that are in the room for training, we will have paper beside each computer that you can use to jot down your questions to be able to ask them later. If you are connected in via Zoom, please use the chat functionality to communicate with us and ask questions during the training. We will address those questions during the Q&A segment. If you cannot see or hear us, please let us know. We are also asking that during the demonstration portion of the training that you are not logged in to the computer. Instead, we are asking for your full attention and to let us show you how the system works. At the end of the training, we will have time available for you that are in the room to get into the system and try it out. We will have scenarios for you to practice, and we will be here to answer your questions and help you. For those of you that are remote, we have sent you remote access instructions and scenarios prior to this meeting that you may use to either practice now or at your convenience. If you need us to resend these to you, please let us know. Again, thanks for coming. Go to the hospital's webpage for staff. Here you will find a link to log in to MEDITECH Expanse. There are also some remote access instructions on this page that you may find helpful. After clicking the link to log in to MEDITECH Expanse, you will see a new tab open where you will be able to sign in. Here you will enter WCH / followed by your username, and then enter your password. Select Launch New Session to open your MEDITECH session. Your standard pathway for accessing the SUR Scheduler desktop is Surgical Services, Scheduler Desktop. Once the desktop is opened, be sure that you're highlighted on Patient Mode. If not, you can select Patient Mode on the right-hand side. Patient Mode is where you will create new and view existing surgical procedures on a single patient record. You could also view other appointments the patient may have here. To find your patient, enter a patient identifier in the name field. You can search patients in MEDITECH by various demographics, including Social Security number, date of birth, phone number, insurance policy number, full name, partial name, and more. The best practice to follow is this hierarchy when searching for your patient. Number 1, Social Security number. Number 2, birth date. Number 3, phone number. Number 4, policy number. If you do not find your patient after that, then it would be acceptable to search by the patient's name. The name should be entered using the following format: last name, comma, first name. Type the demographic item into the name field, then hit enter. You will be presented with matches if they exist. If you see your patient, you can select them here. After selecting your patient, you will be returned to patient mode. Note the patient information that displays along the top of your screen. This is the patient header. You will always be able to tell which patient you are viewing by this header. But if there are no matching results for the demographic item you entered, you can switch to a different search method like birth date and search again. After switching search method, type the new demographic item in the search field, then hit enter. You should repeat this process until you've exhausted all advised search methods. Depending on the number of results, you may need to click Next to see all matches before proceeding to the next search method. If you see your patient match, you can select them by clicking from the results list and return to patient mode. If you do not find your patient after searching multiple demographic items, you can click the red X to exit the patient lookup screen and return to patient mode, where you will perform a name search. Follow the format last name, first name. MEDITECH will search for the best match. This will ensure that values are not dependent on spelling the name correctly. After typing the name, press Enter on the keyboard. If you do not see a match, you will select the New Patient Footer button to create a new patient. This will bring you to a questionnaire that will allow you to enter the new patient's information. The fields denoted by an asterisk are required, such as last name and first name. The questionnaire cannot be saved until the fields are satisfied. After entering through the fields, select Save on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. After you have selected your patient, select Pending on the right-hand side of the screen. Choose Worcester Community Hospital for the facility. For account number, enter New. Next, choose the surgeon. And choose the procedure. Once you choose the procedure, you will be taken to the procedure screen. These are questions that you're required to complete when requesting a surgery case. You will need to note if this is a secondary procedure or not. Answer each question as it's required. If you say yes that a patient is in a nursing home, you will be required to enter the name of the nursing home. Will the patient be going home the same day? Each question will have options for yes, no, and unknown. Enter a phone number that the patient can be reached. Complete all the required queries. In addition to choosing from the drop-down, you are also able to type within the field. N will equal no, Y will equal yes, U will equal unknown. Please note that if you say yes to the patient being diabetic, you will be required to answer if the patient is insulin dependent or not. Again, you will have the option to use the drop-down menu or to enter yes, no, or unknown, Y, N, or U. Another way that you could get to the drop-down is using F9 on your keyboard. You must provide a requested surgery date. This is a lookup. You can choose the date from the calendar. Also, a requested start time. Is the patient capable of answering H&P questions? Is a PAT needed? If you say yes that a PAT is needed, you will be required to put a requested date for the PAT. Is a rep needed? Yes or no? If you say yes, you will be required to enter a company. This is a free text field. Also, you are required to enter who the rep was notified by. Please note that if you say no, that a rep is needed, then you will not be required to complete these questions. Is special equipment needed for this procedure? Yes or no? If you say yes to this question, you will be required to choose the special needs from this list. You can choose as many as you need to. If you choose Other, see Comments, There is a field below that you can enter special needs comments. This is a free text field. You will be required to provide details about the patient's insurance. This is a lookup to our insurances. If you know the name of the insurance, you could type it in to do a search. If the name Buckeye is in any results, they will display here. After you choose the insurance plan, enter the policy number. If the patient has a secondary insurance, you have the option to enter that here as well. Pre-authorizations and codes. What is the method used to obtain the authorization for this procedure? You have 4 options: CPT code lookup, hospital pre-cert, phone, or portal. You must choose one of these options. If you use anything besides hospital pre-cert, you'll be required to provide a pre-authorization number. If you do not have the pre-authorization number, maybe because the auth is pending or auth is not required, this is a lookup field for you to choose those options accordingly. But if you have the auth number, please enter that here. When you enter the pre-authorization number, you should enter the authorization effective date and the expiration date and the reference number. ICD-10 codes. You're required to provide at least one diagnosis code for this procedure, but you're able to enter up to 5. This is a lookup to all of our diagnosis codes. You can use the lookup and search by clicking Next, or if you know the code, you can enter it here. CPT codes. You're required to provide at least one CPT code, but you can enter up to 5. This is a lookup to our HCPCS CPT code list. When you choose a CPT code, you will get one of 2 messages. Schedule as an SDC procedure. This means that this CPT code should be scheduled as an outpatient case. If you enter any code and get a message, schedule as an inpatient procedure, then this procedure should be scheduled as an inpatient type. You'll want to make note of these messages as you receive them. It will be important on the next screen. The last section is responsible party. You're required to provide the relationship of the responsible party. This is a lookup to the relationship list. You will choose from the list. If you choose self, you'll move on to the next. If this is a minor child, they should have a legal guardian or parent listed as the responsible party. Once you've completed all the required fields, you can click OK to return to the next screen. We know that this is the primary procedure. If there is an assisting surgeon, you can enter it here. There is an RN first assist option that you can choose if that's what you need. Side, this is the side that's needed for this procedure, or it may not be applicable. If you have something additional to add or clarify this procedure, you're able to do that in the procedure description. Next, you'll see that the case type is required and has defaulted in for you, since this will be a scheduled case. The reg type is short for registration type. This is where CPT code let you know if this should be scheduled as an inpatient or an SDC, surgical daycare case. Choose the appropriate reg type here based on the responses you got from the CPT codes you entered. Next, you're required to provide anesthesia type. This is a drop down and look up to the options that you have available. Last, you'll go into the waitlist field by clicking into the field. You'll choose a waitlist in this drop down. Once that's done, you'll click OK. Select Save in the bottom right-hand corner. You'll receive a conflict message about this procedure requiring an authorization. You'll get this every time since our pre-cert department will review each scheduled surgery case. Click Override. You're getting a warning because the system is needing to pre-register this patient for this pending surgery case. There are some required fields. Click OK. You'll come into the questionnaire, but notice that those required fields have been populated for you. All you have to do here is click Save. This is a filed confirmation screen that shows the account number and the medical record number for this patient, as this case has been created in a pending status and is pre-registered. This is a page where you could print information if you needed to. The last screen is a confirmation that the pending case has been created for this patient and that the account has been pre-registered. This means that staff or physicians could go in and enter documents like the history and physical or enter orders. When we return to patient mode, you will find the patient as this procedure displaying in a pending status with the requested date and time. Notice that this case has not been scheduled officially since the scheduled date and time is blank. Also, the status will change to booked once it is scheduled. Later on, if you come in here and find this patient and you would like to view details of case, clicking on View will allow you to come into a view mode where you can see all the details of how this case was requested. Clicking on Instructions/Questions will show all the details of what you completed when the case was requested. You can also go to the waitlist to see a full list of patients who are currently on the waitlist. When you go to waitlist, click Compile. This will show all the patients who are pending and waiting to be put on the schedule. Once a patient is put on the schedule, they will drop off this waitlist. If you return to patient mode later on to look up and select this patient, you may notice that you do not see any appointments, not even the pending. Check your criteria by clicking on the criteria button at the bottom. It's possible that you are not seeing the scheduled case if it is scheduled out further than the criteria set here. Move this out to a further date. The default is controlled by access. Also on this screen, you will likely want to include appointments. So add that. Click Compile. Here, you'll be able to see that this procedure has been officially booked. The status is booked and the scheduled date and time is populated. Also, we can see that a pre-surgical telephone interview has been scheduled for the date and time shown. I also want to note that if you highlight on the scheduled procedure and click View, you are able to see those details for the linked pre-admission testing appointment here as well. As always, you will be able to see those questions that were completed when the case was initially requested. What about room mode? Click on Room Mode on the right-hand side. This shows the schedule for the operating rooms on any given date. If you go out to this future date, you will find that this patient is showing up scheduled in OR Room 2. And similarly as patient mode, if you are highlighted on a patient on this screen, you can click View to view those same details.